Learning and teaching, these are the fundamental, the basics in the world of education. So as teachers or going to be teachers, we need to understand what learning really means and what are the characteristics of learning. In layman's term, we usually refer learning as gaining knowledge, reading information, or learning a skill by experience or by somebody teaching us. That all comprises of learning. In formal terms, learning is the process of progressive behavior adaptation. Big words, but they are very simple to understand. So progressive, when we learn, we do progress. And in terms of behavior, you see there is a change or difference in the way a learned person would behave and an illiterate would behave. Yes, the way the literate person would talk, the polished language the person would use. So that is the change in behavior which learning brings into. And adaptation. So when we are into a new situation, we modify ourselves when we learn. So that is learning, the whole process all about. And we will see the first and the foremost characteristics and nature of learning is pervasive. Now what do we mean by pervasive? Which means that you cannot restrict learning. You cannot say that, okay, learning is a limited thing in a classroom or in a school. No, when we learn, the learning or the knowledge we implement throughout our lives. So learning doesn't have any boundaries or borders. So learning is pervasive. Learning is process oriented. Yes, so we go through a process when we are learning, and which brings us to a behavioral change. So why do we go to school? Why do we learn? Because we need to be a better human beings, and that's where learning is all about. Learning is active. So just by sitting with learned people, you don't learn a lot, right? But it's a good thing to have a company of learned people, but you need to be actively grasping knowledge from them. So active learning or learning is an active process. Learning is goal directed. We have a direction. All right. When you are doing a B.Ed course or any other formal degree, there is a goal, there is a destination that we want to reach. So learning is goal directed. Learning is adaptation. As we spoke in terms of the definition, we saw how learning can be modified, can be tweaked, and can be adopted. That's a feature of learning. Learning is universal and continuous. So learning is not restricted to boundary. It is universal, it is throughout, and it is continuous. There is no end to learning, and that's why we say we need to be lifelong learners. Learning is developmental, right? So when we learn, there's a lot of development and improvement, and we get updated with what's happening in the real world out there. Learning is organizing experiences. So this point, if you just think about the wardrobes or the cupboard when it's unclean and things are here and there. So just imagine those unclean clothes or unorganized clothes being part of your knowledge. And so learning is also organizing your experiences. So when we clear on weekends, when we clear the wardrobe, when we clear our cupboard, how well it looks, right? So that is also learning, is also about organizing our own experiences. And I will give you a small thing for you to remember all the 10 points. That is PP bag, which is when we started learning, we were into pre-primary. That's where you see there is a P and a P. So pre-primary bag, BAG. That will help you to remember the first 5 points. And then the audio. We'll love to hear the rhymes, the jingles in the pre-primary. So pre-primary bag and audio, thing to remember. So that is what we have for today. Thank you very much.